May 21st, College Baseball Picks on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on the College Baseball Experience is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account that is built for bettors. You can sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus. What's going on, everybody? My name is Noah Bieniek. Welcome back into the brand new episode of the College Baseball Experience. It is the most wonderful time of the year. College baseball conference tournaments are going on nonstop from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. as last night's ACC tournament didn't wrap up until like 2 a.m.-ish with a walk-off victory for Boston College over Notre Dame. Full Count Bets knows the deal here. It's late nights with Noah during the tournaments, both the conference tournaments and the NCAA tournaments. These are always a great hit because I say this humbly, or at least I'm trying to say this in the most humble way possible. I'm the only sicko that is going through during the late hours of the eve, finding a bunch of different pitchers that are slated for these matchups in college baseball, because a lot of it's taboo. A lot of it is, kind of grinding through their weeds, looking around in like team previews, beat writers / social media and whatnot. So, and sometimes it's me projecting who could start for some of these teams. I know that there were a ton of games yesterday. There's going to be a ton of games today. These shows are less recappy and more just get in, go through the pitchers, which games I like the best, get out and try to keep it within an hour because, as you know, it is 5:40 a.m. right now, those that are watching live. And if you're not watching live, it is 5:40 a.m. And games begin once again today at 9 a.m. So I want to get to sleep. I usually miss the very, very morning slate, but wake up in the middle of the day. And I'm able to catch up on some of the action that I missed with ESPN Plus and some wheels. And that's kind of how I am able to do this thing, other than just loving the absolute shit out of watching all the college baseball action going on this weekend. This week, it's the best week of the year because it's the last time that you're going to see 80% of these teams. And a lot of the guys that are playing in the mid-major level could be transferring up into the high majors, and we'll be talking about them a lot more. It's nice to get some eyes on them during this time of the year when a lot of media attention they get. It's the peak level. It's the max that they're going to get right now. And it's also really cool to see that we're getting betting odds on like 11 conferences right now. The conference tournament preview episode that we did, where I brought Johnny on, where he was kind of mapping out what he thought the pitching structure was going to be for a lot of the teams. We talked about 10 tournaments that we typically get betting odds for throughout the year, kind of scattered. Very nice to see that on day one we have some overnight lines on like 11 conferences, I think I counted. So that is great news. Hopefully it continues throughout the week. Last year it was a little shaky. This year it's been terrible with overnight lines. So thankfully I'll be reading off of DraftKings odds boards for most of these, and the other books will start trickling in after DK. That's typically how it's been in years past. Before we're going to get into today's matchups, I just want to remind you that we've got a bunch of merch on sale right now with the promo code 20% off. Right now, use the promo code DGENS. It's a 20% off sale on the sportsgamblingpodcast.com store. You can get some hats for the college experience or some shirts for the college experience. We've got a bunch of different color combinations for your school of choice over there. Let's jump into today's slate. And like I said, I'm trying to get in, get out in like an hour-ish. If it's a TBA and I'm not really projecting, obviously that means it was a tough projection. These early games in the midweek, so Tuesday, I'm going to say that at the beginning of the show, get it out of the way. Tuesday, a lot of teams, especially in the mid-major level, they will throw their ace because then the championship game on Sunday, they would have him available after 4 days rest which is MLB rest typically for starting pitchers. So you're going to throw your ace Tuesday, and then you typically wait till Thursday or Friday to go with your rest of the weekend rotation. If you get there, it's great and you're gravy, but typically teams are not very aggressive with the arm care and arm health. So it's kind of bullpen Johnny Holstaff days on the Wednesday and Thursdays specifically. So it's going to get easier as we get further through the weekend and we figure out, who's already thrown, and we can kind of eliminate them off of the list of options out of the bullpen or in the starting rotation. But yeah, a lot of these names are pulled from team previews, from online beat reporters and whatnot. So it's tougher Wednesday, Thursday than it is on the weekend. Colton is saying 5 a.m. Noah, what the hell? Get used to it for the next month. For the next month, let's have some fun. All right, game one that I want to talk about real quick. Odds also. I'm not going too deep on games that are juiced to the max where they're over minus 200. Nobody in their right mind's betting them straight. I'll mention them if I like them as a parlay piece. This first matchup, it's Cal, who's the 16 seed. The ACC tournament saw 3 underseeded teams in the opening round win that first round matchup. All 3 of those teams would have been left out of the ACC tournament in the previous formats. So positives and negatives of new formats of these expanded conference tournaments with these new teams in the leagues. But yeah, Cal, speaking of one of them, they just murdered Miami yesterday. This is the right term. And yeah, they are going to go with Cole Tremaine. That's my projection, at least. This isn't confirmed by them, but Wake Forest is going to throw Logan Lunsford. That is their projected pitcher that they released through their team preview. Tremaine's kind of been an opener for much of this season. He did throw 5 innings on Friday, and in his last 9 innings in the last month of May, he's given up 4 earned runs. So he's not typically going too deep into games, but when he did, he was all right. So that's something to note there for Cal. That was against NC State last weekend. Actually, no, I think that was Florida State 2 weekends ago where he went 5 innings. Logan Lunsford for Wake Forest has really been scuttling lately. On the season, he's been good, 4.18 ERA, but his last 3 starts, which have come against Stanford, who was the 15 seed and the only lower seeded team in the ACC tournament not to win the opening round game, which is, man, that team is stunning. Again, not really talking about too many of the games that have happened. But yeah, Stanford, Gardner-Webb, and High Point are the 3 most recent starts for Logan Lunsford, and it's a 7.33 ERA, which is not pleasing at all. So this is a game that, the total, I've got it up on the side, is 13. I don't think it's a bad look at it over. I really don't. So Cal building some momentum and some rhythm. Typically, these early games favors the teams that have already played a game and already have a game under their belt. And Cal, I mean, they look like troopers playing at 6 a.m. local time. They will be doing it again. So I don't think it affected them in the first game against Miami. We'll see if it affects them against the Deeks. But I kind of like their chances. Plus 240. That would probably be my pick in this game. And I like the over. Game number 2, Kennesaw State and Florida International. Florida International is throwing Jaden Bishop, who's 1-1 on the season, 4.15 ERA in 39 innings, 42 strikeouts, 27 walks with a 4.32 Sierra. So he could be due for some regression, but part of that is because he just struggles to throw strikes. Not many teams hit him very well. It's a 175 batting average against him, but his last 4 appearances, it's a 6.30 ERA. His recent trend has just not been great. Kennesaw State, like I said, it's a TBA, but they do have 2 starting pitcher options that have sub-5 ERAs. It's just a tough projection. Like I said, Wednesdays, Thursdays, tough projections. I'm not going to really have a confident pick in either side here. I like the Owls as a team just slightly better than the Panthers. And yeah, Old Dominion plays Troy today. Dylan Brown will start for the Monarchs, and Garrett Gaines returns from injury. He did throw 3 innings last weekend against Southern Miss. 1 earned run. He walked 4, struck out 3. So this is going to be, I think, his first start since returning from that injury. Whereas Dylan Brown, he's been pretty good for Old Dominion this season. He's been their best arm. 4.18 ERA in 75.1 innings with 93 strikeouts, 25 walks, a 2.85 Sierra. His last 5 starts, it's a 4.24 ERA in conference. Old Dominion at plus 190 is not a bad look. Like I could easily see them, competing in this one and possibly giving Troy a run for their money. Am I going to bet it? No, but I would be picking ODU as the side here. There's no chance I'm laying Troy minus 250 with Garrett Gaines making his first start after injury. In the Big 12 tournament, the opening day of this tournament down there at Globe Life Field in Arlington, BYU is plus 190. Arizona State is minus 250. Same price as that ODU Troy game. 2 TBAs for both teams. BYU lacks a little bit more of that star power offensively, but Arizona State, just talking about the offenses, whether it's Kian Vu, Landon Harrison, Brandon Compton, I think they've got more firepower to get this thing done against BYU. Again, not knowing the pitchers, but BYU really doesn't have a stud on the mound either that can go out there and deal and win them a game. So yeah, I kind of like the Sun Devils here, especially if they throw Ben Jacobs, then that's a good parlay piece. So if anybody is super interested and really got their eyes peeled on social media and when they announce their starting pitcher, if it's Jacobs, it's not a bad parlay piece. Bradley plays Belmont tomorrow in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. No pitchers projected for either one of these teams. 2 TBAs. Struggled to really kind of find any pattern and who they may throw in the midweek game here. Bradley's plus 110, Belmont minus 140. Pete Daniels, the name to know on the offense for Belmont, batting 370. I think that might give them, the Bruins, a slight edge in the matchup. The big one in the SEC, for some reason, this thing was canceled yesterday. I don't think it rained that hard in Hoover. Just talking with Jack DeLongshaw, I think they may have been able to play this thing, and now the entire tournament's going to be set behind schedule on day one. Hoover never fails. Oh, my goodness. Texas A&M, Mississippi State, though. Game 1, huge game for A&M. Doesn't really mean anything for Hail State. Both teams are throwing relievers, or at least these were the 2 pitchers that were slated to go yesterday. Whether that changes or not, I don't know, but we're going to stick with it. Weston Moss against Ryan McPherson. Moss for A&M has been their best reliever. He's 6-3 with a 3.35 ERA and 45.2 innings this season with 49 strikeouts, 17 walks, a 3.34 Sierra. And for the Bulldogs, it's McPherson, who's 4-0 this year, 3.03 ERA, 32.2 innings on the season, 49 strikeouts, 11 walks, a 186 Sierra, and opponents are just hitting 176 against him. In 5 innings for McPherson during May, it's 0 earned runs, and Moss has actually gotten hit around in his last 2 appearances, 7 earned in 7.2 innings during the month of May. I've said it. I'm burying Texas A&M. I need to see it to believe it with this team. The offense really is struggling and has struggled for much of the season. Both I look at the beginning of the year and I look at that Georgia weekend where they didn't have Caden Sorrell, and it kind of looks a little lifeless. So I'm going Mississippi State there. And even if Texas A&M decides to throw Ryan Prager, Mississippi State's one of the best offenses against left-handed pitching, one of the most powerful offenses against left-handed pitching. So I think they might be able to do damage against Prager too, who's more of a pitch-to-contact arm than anything. So yeah, that would be a tough matchup, which is kind of why I think they're throwing Moss in this. because they have 3 left-handed starters in that entire weekend rotation. So I don't think Hill State's the team that they want to throw one of those southpaws against. Before we continue on with the slate and handicapping and giving out some pitchers that I was able to find, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There are no usage fees. It's super easy. There's no minimums either. You can earn cashback rewards, 100% approval rate for all betting deposits. You can sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. You can deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That is edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we are also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in on game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. Use promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick over there on their Pick'em platform. You can get a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. And we are back here on the College Baseball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, running through the entire slate, given some of the pictures that I was able to find for these projected, or some of the projected pictures for these matchups on Wednesday in college baseball conference tournaments that we're going to see all day long. 9 a.m. first pitch we wrapped up on Tuesday at 2 a.m. in the ACC tournament. So picking up where we left off, Illinois and UCLA. This is one of those matchups where UCLA is minus 315, Illini are plus 230. Illinois won their first game against Michigan. This is pool play. So this is the game that UCLA, the top seed, needs to win. And then if they lose to Michigan, does not matter. They advance. Win this game, UCLA is in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. But they have a TBA. So that was kind of like they were waiting to see who was going to win this game, and then they would decide who they will throw. I think it's going to be Ian May, but again, not really confident in that. And Illinois also had a TBA for what it's worth, but they threw their game 1 starter in Tyler Schmidt, who has been great this year, but after him, the weekend rotation's kind of been really shaky. Regan Hall is their number 2. He's 7-4 on the year, but it's a 6.06 ERA. So, yeah, opponents are hitting 3.07 against him, and he has an 11.10 ERA in his last 3 starts. This one kind of seems like a UCLA parlay piece to me. Again, I would feel more comfortable knowing who UCLA is going to throw, but yeah, UCLA parlay piece there. William and Mary and Charleston do battle tomorrow in the CAA conference tournament. No betting odds on this, and also no pitcher for Charleston. But this is interesting. I thought they would probably put out odds for this matchup, but they didn't. William and Mary's got one of the best offenses in mid-major college baseball, and Charleston's got one of the better, more hailed weekend rotations. They didn't really live up to the hype this year, but they still have 2 starters sub 430 ERA, and Nick Lache is going to be the pitcher for the Tribe there in that matchup. And then another quick one, quick hitter. New Mexico State is -6. New Mexico State is plus 420 against Western Kentucky, who is -660. WKU's throwing Taylor Penn, and New Mexico State is going with Connor Wild there. So, yeah, notable. I had WKU winning the Conference USA tournament. I still stick with that. But again, even that price, it's still way too north for even a parlay. So not really interested there. Another matchup, no betting odds, but probably will appear at some point today because we've seen the AAC odds for opening day, and I think we're going to see them again for day 2. FAU against Rice, an elimination game. Tyler Murphy is my projection, at least for FAU. He's been their game 2 starter for much of the year after Trey Bird. And for Rice, they announced that it would be J.D. McCracken on the season. He's 4-5 with a 6.82 ERA. And Murphy for FAU has an 8.72 ERA in his last 5 starts. So if we do get like a total on this game, I'd be looking at an over, even though Rice's offense and kind of FAU's in the same point, but more Rice. Their offense doesn't really pack a punch at all. So Florida Atlantic money line might not be a terrible look, but I don't feel confident in that at all. Another matchup with 2 TBAs as pitchers, but this one comes in the ACC tournament. It's Virginia Tech against Clemson. The Tigers are minus 200. The Hokies plus 154. Virginia Tech wins that game against Stanford pretty handily. There were some moments where, Stanford had some action on the base paths, and the Hokies actually made some good defensive plays to get themselves out of jams. They threw their stud freshman yesterday, but I think they could be in line to throw their ace Brett Renfro today. Again, no confirmation on that. Clemson, they are one of the toughest teams to figure out pitching wise. They've got 9 pitchers with 3 or more starts. That's been their biggest hole the entire year is, their pitchers outside of Aiden Knox, their ace, and Lucas Malstedt's their closer. Reed Garris is one of their go-to leverage guys out of the bullpen. And Drew Titsworth has been one of their best arms this season and kind of struggles as a starter, but he's good as a reliever, but they wanted to try him as a starter. So I have no idea who Eric Bakich is going to throw in this matchup. All I know is that they showed up to the ballpark yesterday in a bunch of Hawaiian t-shirts. I don't know what the purpose and thought process was behind there, but shout out to Eric Bakich, who does respect the Pacific Islander month in May. So I no idea if that was what it was or not, but it is a happy Pacific Islander month. Texas Tech plays against Cincinnati tomorrow or today in the Big 12 tournament. The Red Raiders are plus 145. The Bearcats are minus 188. We do have confirmed pitchers for this matchup. It's Mac Hoyer up against Nathan Taylor. On the season, the Texas Tech righty is 2-3 with a 6.18 ERA in 51 innings, 46 strikeouts, 22 walks. Opponents are hitting 3.05 against him, and he has a 7.97 ERA in his last 3 starts. And for Nathan Taylor, he's actually enduring his worst stretch of the year. It's a 6.89 ERA in his last 3 starts. But in my opinion, he's been one of the best arms in the Big 12 this season. 5-2 with a 3.65 ERA, 74 innings, 75 strikeouts, 29 walks, and a 3.45 SIERA. Cincinnati's my pick here. But again, I don't love that minus 188 price. This is not an offense that's going to run away with this game, especially with Texas Tech that may have a little bit of a crowd being down there in Arlington and also has more of an offensive identity. So, this one probably is a closer game that is higher scoring than I would think others will be in Globe Life. But yeah, I like Cincinnati to win that thing. They probably put up more early runs in that matchup. This one, real quick, Southern Miss minus 445, Texas State plus 310. No pitchers for either one. I like the Golden Eagles there. No pitchers for this one, unfortunately. This is smelling like gamesmanship to me. Alabama, Tennessee, TBAs for both. Alabama's in a tough spot because they threw Tyler Fay, who's been their Friday night guy for the last 5 weeks now. Kind of like a one-time through the order type of arm. But yesterday he gave him really good length. He went 6 innings against Missouri, had a good day for his standards. However, Riley Quick, who's been their number 2, who typically once a coach in a power conference would show their ace, they typically go right through their weekend rotation. Riley Quick is coming off of and has come off of an arm injury. And specifically, I believe he's Tommy John injury that, he's fresh off of this season. And he's thrown great this year. But I don't necessarily think that Alabama's wanting to risk it with him. They are comfortably in the NCAA tournament. Yes, they would love to win this game because it would kind of confirm they are a top 16 regional host. Tennessee also in the same boat. They would love to win this game to kind of improve their top 16 regional host, resume, candidacy, and case. So they could definitely throw Liam Doyle. I think he's probably got a higher percentage of appearing in this game than Riley Quick does. However, I would probably put Doyle as below 50% as well. Tennessee plays very well in Hoover under Tony Vitello, but they never really throw out of order with their weekend rotation. Like you go back to Dolander days, even last year with the Kazi Stamos day. They stayed pretty organized with that weekend rotation. So this seems like a bullpen day for both teams here, which makes it really tough to project because Tennessee's bullpen's been very shaky lately, and that's kind of been one of the sources of their recent poor stretch of losing 6 straight SEC series. Alabama at plus 160 is definitely probably the more favorable look for me. But again, not knowing pitchers in this matchup as of right now is going to lead me away from betting this. But Crimson Tide is my pick for this one. And I would say it probably goes over. Do we have the total out on this one yet? I would think it's probably a more high scoring game. Total of 11. I think we're going higher than 11 in the Alabama Tennessee game here. Next game that we're going to talk about on the episode is a quick one. Creighton is minus 238 against St. John's, who's plus 180. According to the game notes here, Creighton is TBA, but St. John's is going to throw David Rodriguez, who's missed the last 2 weeks due to injury, or he missed 2 weeks due to injury. Last week, he only pitched 17 pitches. So I don't know what's up with David Rodriguez, but apparently he's going to start for the Johnnies. He's 3-3 with a 5.51 ERA this season. In 49 innings, he's only got 23 strikeouts. He's got 31 walks, a 6.21 Sierra, and opponents are hitting 287 against him. This seems like a Creighton spot to me. And one reason why they haven't probably announced a pitcher for this is they're probably throwing off against the Red Storm. They hopefully feel comfortable that they're going to win. Out of the 4 teams that are in the Big East tournament, St. John's seems like the weak link that a lot of teams may not throw their best arms against. So that's just some analysis on this tournament as we move forward. I like the Blue Jays in this matchup. I think, honestly, Creighton's got some really good head-to-head performances against all 3 of these teams in the Big East tournament. St. John's might have been the one team that nipped the Blue Jays, now that I think about it, during the regular season. But, I'll go Creighton there. Not a whole lot of faith in the Johnnies. How about this fire matchup? UC Santa Barbara and Hawaii are playing in a 1-game elimination play-in game in the first ever Big West tournament. So 5 teams got in, but the 4 and 5 seeds are playing each other in this first game, and the loser goes home. So Hawaii is flying into the mainland to play 1 game, and if they lose, they are done. And this thing is like, I don't know, 9 a.m. local time for the Bows, so it's kind of crazy. Both teams aren't throwing their number 1s, but their number 2s are really good. Jackson Flora for the Gauchos, they're minus 154, and for Hawaii, it's Cooper Walls, and they're plus 120 in this matchup. Flora, he's been great. One of my favorite arms in mid-major college baseball to bet on this season. He's going to be a top draft prospect next year, much like Matt Ager and Tyler Bremner have been at UC Santa Barbara for the last 2 years. Flora can run it up there in the high 90s. He's 6-2 on the year, 3.26 ERA, and 69 innings with 84 strikeouts. 15 walks. He's got a 234 SIERA, and opponents are hitting just 201 against him. He has a 111 ERA in the last 6 starts this year. Honestly, he just had that one really bad month of March, because February he was elite, and after March he's been red hot. So Flora has been legit. And Walls in his last 3 starts, it's a 255 ERA. On the year, it's 367 and 56.1 innings with 44 strikeouts, 14 walks. And opponents are hitting a little bit better against him. It's 291 batting average against. I'm going to go Gauchos here. I think it's going to be a good pitcher's matchup. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a pitcher's duel. UC Santa Barbara's offense is a little bit more challenged. Same with Hawaii. Both teams kind of struggle to put up some runs. So this will be a lower scoring matchup for sure. The total is 10. I would be on the under in this one, along with the Gauchos. I think they get it done in that. So, yeah, let's go Gauchos and under. Washington, Penn State is the next matchup here. It's minus 115 both ways. Penn State has not announced a starting pitcher in this matchup, but Washington's going to go with Max Banks. He's really interesting because the stat that I pulled was, Washington was 8-0 in Fridays / Max Banks starts in the Big Ten. However, in his last 4 starts, he has a 5.02 ERA. And if you look at the last 3 specifically, it's Iowa, Oregon, USC, 3 of the top 4 teams in the Big Ten Conference. So you look at it, he dealt against, lackluster competition, and he got hit pretty good against quality competition. And I think Penn State's one of the better teams in the Big Ten, albeit they're not a top 5 team. But I think the offense is kind of talented. And if they throw Ryan DeSanto, I think they are live to win this game against Washington, who's the 5 seed in the Big Ten. They'll be designated as the home team in this matchup. But I like the Nittany Lions to possibly play spoiler in this matchup and play against USC for that semifinal spot out of Pool D in the Big Ten tournament. Before we continue going on with the Wednesday slate of college baseball conference tournament games, the college baseball experience is brought to you by Rhythm. They are your home for AI-backed picks and props. You can dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and they also just launched their WNBA product. Rhythm also knows that you'll love it, so that's why they're giving you a 7-day free trial. Go over there right now to Rhythm, as they have some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25, or you could get a 50% off annual subscription with the promo code SGPN50. Go over there, use your 7-day free trial to figure out whether you want to purchase it for a month, for a year. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm is your link. That is spelled RITHMM. Promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. SGPN is also partnered up with Circa Resort and Circa Casino in Las Vegas. They are giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for your stay. The winner will receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league, which includes 6 double king rooms. You can hold your draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit. You can get limo transportation to and from the airport, a welcome party at the Legacy Club for the entire league when you arrive, a reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league, a 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. The contest duration runs from May 5th to June 30th. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa to enter today. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And the college baseball experience is brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. For the true degens, the MyBookie money bag is there for you. It's basically a slot machine. You see the odds that you are going to get on one of the futures, and it spins you through a list of names or team names for said future. You can either get some great value on one of the top dogs, or you can get some poor value. It's really a luck of the draw, and it's for the thrill for those true degens. My bookie also accepts customers from a ton of locations. It's easy to deposit, and you can get lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head over to mybookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN to get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That is mybookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN. And we are back here on the College Baseball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek. I am running through the entire Wednesday slate, giving you guys out the pitchers that I found throughout the middle of the night. I'm recording this live at 6:15 a.m. on YouTube, and then be posting it on the podcast platforms right after that. College baseball today at 9 a.m. and they'll be running through the night, as last night's Tuesday night's ACC tournament final game didn't wrap up till like 2 a.m. when Boston College was able to knock off Notre Dame there. But got a couple more games here on the slate that I'm going to run through for you guys. The next one is UT Arlington and Utah Valley. The Wolverines are minus 125. The Mavericks are minus 105. Joe Stieber is going to bump for UTA. He's 4-4 with a 4.25 ERA and 67.1 innings, 38 strikeouts, 18 walks. And for Utah Valley, it's Jacob Hepner, who's 4-3 with a 5.73 ERA and 55 innings, 54 strikeouts, 18 walks. My pick here is going to be Utah Valley. They play at high elevation all season long. Their offense is one of the best in the conference, obviously, because of that elevation, but also Hepner, his numbers are a little bit inflated because of the home environment that he typically plays in. This tournament is being played in Mesa, Arizona, and it's an absolute launch pad. I think it's going to favor the better offense with an all right pitcher that's used to the elevation. Give me Utah Valley. So, yeah, minus 125 is a pretty good look on Utah Valley. Not even going to lie there. That one I may end up firing on. I didn't say this at the beginning of the show, but I wrote down all my notes. I handicapped it, but I didn't place any of these until I jumped onto the show here. And I'm honestly like physically reading them for the first time while I'm going through them with you guys on the podcast. So, really interesting. I'm kind of figuring out, like, engaging how much I like some of these plays as we go. And yeah, Utah Valley seems like a good play to me. This is one that I was hoping for a better pitcher because Liberty's plus 230 against Dallas Baptist, who's minus 315. This tournament, the Conference USA tournament, is being played on Liberty's campus. And they've typically been good in their midweek games this season. But the Flames have announced that they're throwing Jake Potts, who's not one of the arms that I was hoping for. In his last 5 starts, he's been all right. It's a 5.32 ERA. On the season, it's 5.18 ERA and 33 innings, 29 strikeouts, 16 walks. It's a 4.30 SIERA, and opponents are hitting 285 against him. That's just not really going to fly against Dallas Baptist. Their offense is legit. They haven't announced a starting pitcher yet. I'm not sure they're going to throw one of their top dogs against the 8 seed in this tournament. So, I don't really know what to expect from DBU on the mound, but I think they get it done in what will be probably a closer game than most might predict it to be. New Mexico's minus 210 against San Jose State, plus 160. This one, I don't have pitchers for either side in this matchup, but this is just for face value. The Lobos, probably one of your better parlay pieces of the day tomorrow. New Mexico's offense is one of the best in the country. It's the 3rd best WRC plus as a team offense this season. It's 133, which basically means that they are 33% better than the average NCAA offense in Division I in college baseball. And San Jose State, bottom 50 in WRC plus, 86 WRC plus there, so they're 14% worse. So do the math. There's a huge difference between the two offenses here. Yes, New Mexico plays at elevation, for most of the season in their home games, and San Jose does not. But this tournament is being played also in Mesa, Arizona, so the ball is going to fly, and that benefits the Lobos. So I don't think it's a bad parlay pick at all. New Mexico there. Quick just glance over this game. Wichita State and South Florida doesn't have odds and doesn't have pitchers, but we'll probably get that game soon on the odds board, just by my prediction of us seeing AAC games throughout the season and on day one of their conference tournament. In the Big 12 tournament, Oklahoma State is playing Baylor in round one. The Pokes are minus 180. The Bears are plus 140. Oklahoma State's not going to throw Harrison Bodendorf, who I thought they were going to throw. He's been one of the best starting pitchers in the Big 12 all season long. They're throwing Sean Youngerman, who's been their number 2, and he's been really good too. He's 3-1 on the season with a 2.08 ERA and 47.2 innings. It's 54 strikeouts, just 6 walks. And he has a 2.28 Sierra, and opponents are hitting just 184 against him. In his last 6 starts, 1.29 ERA. He's been elite. For Baylor, it's kind of a different story with Ethan Calder, who's kind of, leaking oil as the season comes down the stretch. It's a 6.76 ERA in his last 5 starts, 5.43 ERA on the year. In 68 innings, he's got 59 strikeouts, 17 walks, a 3.73 Sierra with a 2.73 batting average against him this season. So definitely feel strong about Oklahoma State here. Minus 180 is a little bit more rich for my blood than I would have loved to have seen in this matchup. But I still think that if you're looking to play something around this time of the day, Oklahoma State is probably one of your best looks that you're going to find. I kind of like Oklahoma State maybe as like an expensive parlay piece if you're looking for like plus money. But minus 180 straight's tough. So San Francisco plays St. Mary's on Wednesday. The Gales are minus 220. The Dons are plus 170. To be announced for pitchers on both sides in this matchup. St. Mary's, though, does have the little bit better offense, in my opinion, with Eddie Madrigal and Aiden Taveric, both hitting over 300 with an OPS over 1,000. They would be my pick there, but again, not too confident either in that. Ooh, my throat. Don't know what's going on. These shows, not used to running solo for an hour like I've done in years past, but we're going to be at this speed throughout the entire week here. So hopefully I get a little bit better breaking down. But in the ACC tournament, Pitt, they won their game yesterday against Louisville. Honestly, Louisville's offense did more damage, but Louisville's pitching staff just walked the Panthers like crazy. Gave them so many free runs early. Spotted them, I believe it was an 8-1 lead, and then it came back. Like Louisville came back, and it was a really interesting game afterwards. But I just don't think that you're going to get that against Duke. They were really good discipline and throwing strikes. They're minus 315 in this matchup for a reason, even though they don't have a pitcher projected here. And I didn't even really come up with a good projection for Duke. Pitt plus 230. I think it's Patrick Gardner, who's been their Friday night starter the entire year, but it's an ERA 7+. So not a guy that I'm necessarily looking to back there either. Wow. I'm really struggling. I'm hoping I can turn up my mic volume here a little bit. All right, turned up my mic volume a little bit. Hopefully that'll help me down the stretch because I'm really getting weak. But one of the bigger matchups of the day, Oklahoma, Georgia. These two did face each other earlier in the season. Georgia won 2 games. They took the series. It was played in Athens. Oklahoma did win 1 game, and that 1 game was when Kyson Witherspoon pitched. They were plus 180 in that matchup, if I remember correctly. And Kyson Witherspoon is pitching again for Oklahoma against Georgia. He was an absolute dog against Georgia. I think it was 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. Very, very good performance. They're completely controlled the narrative and kept Georgia's powerful offense down. And Georgia's starting JT Quinn, who has been good this season, but he's not really been one of their more trusted arms. He's only thrown 7 innings in the month of May, only 1 earned run. So good from him. But yeah, Kyson Witherspoon's just an animal, especially like he's a big game pitcher. Exclude the games against Lehigh, against South Carolina, Missouri, Kentucky, exclude those. Every other game, the ERA is below 150, which is insane. And yeah, he's going to get up for this matchup, being played in Hoover. The only opportunity that he might be able to pitch at the Met in his career. I think that he's going to go out there and shove once again. Georgia's lineup could be better the second time around facing him. But I like Witherspoon. He's 9th around the year, 248 ERA, 83.1 innings, 112 strikeouts, 20 walks, a 203 Sierra, and a 191 batting average against. Give me Witherspoon against Georgia at plus money there, plus 120. Luke Binstead says, Noah, how about everyone on Cal doing the playoff stash and absolutely blowing it against Utah Tech? Can't believe those guys. Yeah, that that game, talk about a squeaky wheel and then just completely, letting that thing go by the wayside. They got into 3 bases loaded jams in the 8th inning and beyond in that game. It went to extra innings. No idea how they didn't lose earlier. But then if you're going to string me along for 11 innings, I'm hoping that you win it. And they just weren't able to do it. And even after they gave up two runs in the top of the 11th, they came back in the bottom of the 11th and they threatened. And I'm like, oh, come on. Stop stringing me along. Just cut me already. But yeah, yesterday for me personally, it was a 2-2 day. 1-2 on pre-game bets. So if everybody wants to say, oh, the live bets don't count, I don't live bet often, but I did take Nebraska money line when they were threatening Michigan State. Sparty took out Joe Jerwa, who's been the best pitcher in the Big Ten, the most meaningful pitcher to their team in the Big Ten this season. And yeah, they took him out and they kind of just collapsed, and quite literally they could have won the game. It was a fly ball to the right fielder, Parker Pico, who's a hometown kid. He's a great defender. Closed his glove just a little bit too early, and the ball he didn't catch the ball, and Nebraska was able to tie it up. Just absolutely heartbreaking, because I know a couple of those guys on that team. That was unfortunate for sure. Tough way for the season end for Michigan State, but Nebraska's crowd is inevitable. So yeah, Oklahoma plus 120. The next matchup here is Xavier and UConn. The Musketeers are plus 140. The Huskies are minus 180. Gamesmanship 100% in this matchup here. UConn has some options with their pitcher, but UConn has some options with whoever they want to throw in this matchup. They have the better offense to me, for sure. Xavier has 2 guys that they could throw in Ben Weber or Ryan Peach. But to me, I really kind of like the bones and the skeleton of this UConn team. They've had some postseason success in years past, and the experience in that lineup is something that I think will rise to the occasion here because they're kind of on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. So I'm looking for UConn to go out and make a couple of statements this week, make sure that they are in the NCAA tournament, and they could be a frisky 3 seed in somebody's regional. That's for sure this year. So give me UConn. Again, no pitchers projected for this matchup. Just really interesting. Same with the matchup of Utah Tech and Grand Canyon. We don't even have betting odds on that one yet, but Grand Canyon probably going to open as a pretty big favorite here. Both teams have not announced a pitcher. A couple more games to wrap up today. Another game without betting odds currently. Wofford against UNC Greensboro. Alec Bouchard is going to throw for the Terriers. And for the Spartans, it's Danny Thompson. I would be looking to take UNC Greensboro in this matchup here. But yeah, not really going to dive in too deep on that because no betting odds. Rutgers is plus 175 against Iowa tomorrow, who's minus 230. Rutgers is going to throw Justin Shadek, who's 4-4 on the year with a 7.45 ERA in 58 innings, 51 strikeouts, 35 walks with a 4.75 Sierra. Opponents are hitting 282 against him, which is not great. This is the pool championship game. So even though it's Iowa's first game that they're playing, Rutgers is 1-0. Rutgers knocked off Indiana. If Iowa were to lose to Indiana and go 1-1, they would still advance out of the pool. So Iowa needs to win this game. I'm assuming that they're going to throw Cade Obermueller. The Rutgers game notes had Cade Obermueller here, but it was TBD next to it. So I think they're just assuming as well that they'll see the Iowa ace, who is coming off his worst start of the year. 8 earned in 5 innings against Oregon. The wind was blowing out, and he gave up a grand slam in that completely changed the trajectory of that outing. So I think he's looking for a big bounce back start. No place better to do it than in Omaha at Charles Schwab Field. He's 4-3 on the year, 3.30 ERA, and 76.1 innings with 107 strikeouts, 31 walks. And Shadek in his last 5 starts has a 7.80 ERA. So Iowa would be my pick here, but minus 230 is too rich for my blood. The Hawkeyes, Louisiana Tech and Jacksonville State is minus 115 both ways. Brooks Roberson will get the ball for the Bulldogs. He's 5-4 with a 4.70 ERA in 67 innings with 59 strikeouts, 29 walks. He's got a 4.07 Sierra. Opponents are hitting 229 against him. In his last 4 appearances, it's a 6.99 ERA. So kind of trending downwards here as we wrap up the season. For the Gamecocks, it's Stephen Cash, who has a 5-2 record, 4.30 ERA, 75.1 innings pitched this season, 60 strikeouts, 27 walks, 4.17 Sierra, and 2.23 batting average against. And he has a 2.05 ERA in his last 3 starts. So kind of figuring it out here lately. And that's kind of going to be where I point you. Jacksonville State, I like their coach, Steve Beazer, who is the former Missouri coach. Missouri is an absolute train wreck now. Not that they were great with him, but I think he was figuring something out as they got rid of him, which is just an all-time blunder in my opinion. But Jacksonville State, I think, is my pick here in this matchup. Not too strong conviction behind it, but it would be the Gamecocks here. No betting odds on this matchup, so we'll fly through it pretty quickly. But if we do get betting odds, I would kind of like Louisiana over Marshall. Louisiana would be throwing Tate Hess, who has only given up 2 earned in 7 innings during the month of May. He's more of a reliever, long reliever / spot starter. It's a 5.17 ERA on the season. But Marshall's number 1, Bryce Blevins, has a 8.47 ERA in his last 3 starts, a 6.40 ERA now on the year. He's been trending downwards as the season's gone along. Opponents are hitting 294 against him. Louisiana's offense is poor, but they might be good enough as a dog hopefully, because Marshall is throwing their number one here. So I would be looking to get like a plus money play in on the Raging Cajuns there. No betting odds, no pitchers for this matchup, but it is a fun one. Illinois State against Missouri State in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. This is being played at the Redbirds' home stadium where they blew out Indiana State yesterday to get to the spot. Missouri State had a bye. The Bears' offense is a lot better, but the Redbirds in a groove playing at home could be really interesting to see where the odds land in that matchup. 4 games left to talk about on today's episode. Kansas State plays Houston tomorrow. By the way, what was I going to say? Hopefully I'll remember when I get done with this. Antoine Jean. Shout out to him. Winning Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. I did not see that one coming. That one kind of knocked me off my feet when I saw that. But kudos to him. Kansas State's going to start Jacob Frost, who has a 10 ERA in his last 3 starts here. 5.16 ERA on the season, 59.1 innings, 69 strikeouts, 35 walks. For Houston, it's Paul Schmitz, who has not been good either. A 9 ERA in his last 3 starts, 5.37 ERA on the season, 58.2 innings, 47 strikeouts, 24 walks. I'm be looking at an over in this matchup. Kansas State and Houston, I'd be looking for some runs scored here. The total is 10. I think it's probably going to be ending up higher there. I like an over in Kansas State and Houston. Writing that down. There are no betting odds for this matchup, but it might be the biggest and most important game of the day. Florida against Ole Miss. So I ran over to collegebaseballinsiders.com, used their matchup tool to project odds on this because Liam Peterson for Florida will be pitching against Ole Miss's Hunter Elliott. It projects Florida to be minus 115, Ole Miss to be plus 115 in the matchup. So that is definitely notable. That'll be how I kind of attack this game. Peterson has been okay. I mean, during Florida's run, he's been pretty consistent. You can count on him to give up 3 or 4 in like 5 or 6 innings. Hunter Elliott, on the other hand, in his last 4 starts is a 1.85 ERA. He's been figuring it out because, he had been impressive coming off of missing 2 seasons due to Tommy John surgery. But, lately he's been money. He's 8-3 on the year, 3.31 ERA, 73.1 innings, 86 strikeouts, 36 walks. Opponents are hitting below 200 against him. Honestly, I really like this Ole Miss team. I think Ole Miss could be dangerous in the postseason as a 2 seed. As a 1 seed, I think they've got their target on the back, and I don't know if they would be able to live up to expectations. But this matchup is huge because I think the winner of it could work themselves into the regional host top 16 seed conversation. They're already in the conversation, but it improves their case to be made as a host. I like the Rebs, especially if they're plus money. But Hunter Elliott, at pretty close to a pick, I would even bet this probably minus 125. That would be my threshold on this. I would be taking Ole Miss against Florida. I think this is the perfect scenario. Florida wanted to play 2 games. They get the W in their first matchup yesterday against South Carolina. They didn't drop that game. And, I think that Florida is going to look to get into the game, play well, be competitive, but get out healthy. They've really only got like 10 healthy position players, and they're not really – I don't think O'Sullivan's using that pitching staff aggressively. I don't think he wants to, throw and run out a ton of arms this week down in Hoover. To me, when I circle like teams that aren't really competing for a SEC tournament title, Florida's near the top of that list. And Quentin Mills in the YouTube chat here from NCAA insiders and college baseball insiders. He's talked about Liam probably using this day as more of a bullpen session. Kind of aligns with my thought process as well. I feel like Ole Miss throwing Hunter Elliott in this spot, I think they view it as they are trying to get into that top 16 host conversation where the Florida thing, like they are playing their best ball of the year right now. They know it. And they're willing to go. Like last year, they were able to go into Stillwater, win a regional. I think they're confident wherever they go right now, as long as they stay healthy. The penultimate matchup on today's slate that we're going to talk about on the show, Boston College against Virginia. Virginia is going to throw Jay Woolfolk in the ACC tournament here. He's been really good in postseason or big game settings in his career. Outside of that, I'm not really a fan. Even in the ACC this season, his ERA has been worse than outside of it. So against better competition, he really kind of hasn't had it unless it's on a big stage. And the ACC tournament is, one of your bigger stages of the year. I think he's going to be able to go all right, but Boston College has not announced who they're going to start in this matchup. I think it's going to be Brady Miller. They threw AJ Colarusso in that first game in the ACC tournament. He's been their game one starter throughout the weekend series for much of the season. The game two starter for them has been Brady Miller, who in his last 3 ACC starts has a 2 ERA, sprinkle in 2 non-conference opponents in those last 5 weeks. It's even better than that 2 ERA. But Brady Miller's been going pretty good. It's a 3.81 ERA on the season in 56.2 innings. The Sierra is not great. It's a little inflated, probably due for a little bit of regression here. And Virginia's offense would be willing to give that to him. Virginia's probably the pick. There's no odds currently on this one. I used the Insiders matchup predictor on this one as well, and it spit out Virginia minus 206, Boston College plus 206. I wouldn't be willing to throw Virginia into a parlay per se. I think they win the game, but I'd be more or less likely looking at an under in this matchup between BC and UVA. Final game of the day, UNLV is minus 298 against San Diego State, plus 220. The odds makers love the Rebels, even though they were like a 4 seed in the Mountain West this season. And they were in a play-in game. Lose or win or go home yesterday. The Rebels were able to win it, but they burned their top arm. And now they're going with their number 2, Carson Lane, in this matchup against the Aztecs, who's 6-3 with a 4.10 ERA on the year. But his last 5 starts, it's a 5.69 ERA. He's not been as sharp lately. And for San Diego State, it's Marco Sapala. I'm definitely saying that wrong. It's Marco Sapila. In his last 3 starts, he's been good. 3.07 ERA there on the season. It's a 4.34 with 64.1 innings under his belt, 68 strikeouts, 22 walks. It's a 3.47 Sierra, a 2.67 batting average against. Very, very interesting matchup here. The Rebs just seem like a really inflated price. I'm not in love with the Aztecs offense, that's for sure. I'm not giving them out as money line piece here, but UNLV offense could be due to put up some runs. I'm not necessarily confident that Lane's going to give them good length here in this game, so possibly an over, but most likely a stay away. So that wraps up for all the games that I had listed. I'm going to run through some of my favorite looks again for the day and then get out of here, get to bed, and wake up, watch baseball. UCLA, a good parlay piece against Illinois. Regan Hall, who's been the number 2 for the Illini for much of this season, has an 11.10 ERA in his last 3 starts. On the season, he's giving up a 307 batting average against. Not great for sure with UCLA there. I'd be looking at an over. Cal Wake Forest. That over was 13, minus 115 right now, between Cole Tremaine, who's more of an opener / bullpen arm, against Logan Lunsford, who's not been good recently. His last 3 starts have come against Stanford, Gardner Webb, and High Point, and it's a 7.33 ERA against those opponents. Utah Valley. I like the Wolverines. Games being played in Mesa, Arizona, which is a launch pad of a stadium. Utah Valley already plays at elevation. Hepner's been pretty good for them on the mound, and the lineup is so much better than Utah Arlington's, in my opinion. New Mexico, for a lot of the same reasons, with the elevation, lineup strength. No pitchers projected for this matchup specifically, but San Jose State's been one of the worst offenses all season long. That's a good parlay piece. Oklahoma State minus 180. It's a little rich for me to play straight, but it's a good parlay piece if you're looking to get that thing into plus money. Sean Youngerman on the mound against Ethan Calder there. Youngerman's been great in his last 6 starts, 1.29 ERA. Calder in his last 5, it's a 6.76. He's been a little bit better, a little bit more sharp in his last 3 starts, but I included the last 5 there against better competition. Oklahoma, with Kyson Witherspoon on the mound, is plus 120 against Georgia, who's throwing JT Quinn. Need I say less? And then Kansas State, Houston. I like an over, if anything, in that matchup. The over currently at 10. Jacob Frost has not been good in his last 3 starts, and neither has Paul Schmitz for Houston. So I'm hoping both of those starting pitchers kind of blow up in what is known as a pitcher's park. So that's going to do it for today's episode. Again, I'll be here the entire week, kind of doing late nights with Noah as I kind of handicap, trying to find most of these pitchers for these games. Again, receive a lot of good reception on these shows, because I'm kind of the only psycho that is willing to do this and then go to bed at like 7 a.m. and then wake up at 2 a.m. But it's what I like to do and enjoy to do it. And I'm able to catch up on the action that I miss with Wheels and ESPN Plus and whatnot. So yeah, I'm wishing all you guys luck. I hope this episode helped. You can follow me at NoahB77_. I'll be tweeting a lot of the action that I watch throughout the day. You can follow the show at TCE on SGPN. We've got a lot of fun things planned for this postseason. That has been a wrap on the Wednesday, May 21st College Baseball Picks episode for the college baseball tournaments that we've got going on right now. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I hope you all have a great day. Best of luck to those who tail. This has been the College Baseball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here.